That's what it takes, gentlemen. America's finest.
Go ahead and mark her.
The Mecca of basketball, Rucker Park.
Can you hear me? Adam is my name. You got it? You're not listening. You don't even have headphones on.
Everybody's still in high school, nobody's graduating yet.
I'm getting good at this. I'm like a MTV VJ. Oh, damn it, the light!
They're gonna be multi-millionaires in about 5 years.
Every now and then I just scream out curses, like once in a while, but that'll be fine.
Let's get it going here, folks.
We're shooting! The film is based around an all-star game at Rucker Park in Harlem, in New York. It's like a high school all-star game, and the film kind of focuses on 8 kids, specifically as they're getting ready to come and play at the game in New York. And they're from all around the country. There's kids from Oregon and Baltimore and Coney Island, Brooklyn, and Arizona, and all over the place. And they're basically coming together to compete. They're some of the top players in the world. Actually, several of those players are now going to be eligible for the NBA draft. Probably one of them may actually be the first draft pick. There's 8 kids that the movie focuses on, profiles. It's 4 kids from kind of the western end of the country here. That's Kyle Singler and Kevin Love from Oregon, Jared Bayless from Arizona, Brandon Jennings from Compton, California. Actually, Brandon's supposed to be here at the screening today, and I don't think he's seen the film before, so that'll be cool. And on the East Coast, there's Lance Stevenson, Dante Green, Michael Beasley, and Kyle. No, excuse me. What's his name?
Jared.
I said Jared. He's from Arizona. There's one other kid from Philly, Tyreek Evans. The way that we chose these 8 kids, they were really recommended to me. I wanted to profile a handful of the kids. My original plan was to do profiles on 8 kids and then actually just use 5 of them for the film. But all 8 of them were really interesting, and so I wanted to use all 8. But the way that they were chosen was really, I just wanted kids that were like from diverse backgrounds and geographically and financially, and just pretty diverse bunch of kids that were all really strong ball players and interesting personalities. And these were the guys that were recommended to me by the organizers of the game. I mean, a big part of it was to just try to find out as much as we could about each of these players, just get a sense of their families and coaches and them and the sort of like the world that they live in. And then overall, more of a sense, like an overall sense of what that level of high school basketball is like, what it's like to live in that world, and kind of just talk to sort of like different people who are a part of that world. And then we kind of like broke it down into different aspects of it, kind of like the pressures that the kids are under, or just kind of trying to look at that world and just get a sense of it. No, it's not, the film is not something that I was thinking about doing for a long time. It really just kind of dropped in my lap, and I play in a regular game in New York, a basketball game on Tuesday nights, and this one guy I play with he's like an editor at a high school sports magazine, and one day he just showed up and he was all psyched about this all-star game that he was organizing, and he was telling me about it, and that was probably in the summer of '06. He was kind of like, and he was actually asking me if I wanted to be a coach in the game, and I was like, I don't know how to coach, I don't know what I'm doing. But then he was asking me for ideas about documenting the game, and how many cameras should he have, who should he get to document it, how should he do it, and I started throwing out different ideas, and throwing out ideas specifically about kind of doing profiles on some of the kids, so that when you watch the game, you'd have more of a vested interest in it, and more of an understanding of it. By, you know, and the more that I started coming up with these ideas, the more it seemed like a documentary, that it would make a really cool doc, and so then, you know, I sort of threw my hat in and offered to do it, and so, but it was a pretty short process. I think it was that summer that I was talking about doing it, and the All-Star game was really in September of '06. We got together two teams, basically like an East Coast team and a West Coast team, and kind of came up with a list of questions and kind of how I wanted the West Coast team to approach it. Just sort of like a general idea of kind of like, you know, interviewing the players. They kind of had a list of questions, but they were also told they could kind of take it, like, you know, if it felt like the interview was going in an interesting direction, to just kind of go with it, and to try to talk to their families and coaches and just get a sense of their world, try and get B-roll of them hanging out or training, whatever. Then we did something similar, like on the East Coast. I went with the team to do the 4 guys on the East Coast, and brought someone with me that knows a lot more about basketball than I do to help do the interviews. And they just kind of like felt it out, you know, just kind of shot all that stuff, and then so then we kind of had these profiles on the players. And then when they came to New York, they were in New York for 3 days, and so just tried to follow them as much as possible during those 3 days and get a sense of their world sort of leading up to the game, and then really just document the shit out of the game. So that was kind of the idea. I think what I was probably most surprised about was actually how sort of grown up and refined a lot of these kids are. I think because they have been in the media probably since they're young on some level. I mean, in terms of like local media, they've probably been doing interviews since they were in junior high school, and sort of have a sense of presenting themselves, and I sort of imagined going into it more like, oh, high school students, like these guys are just going to be talking shit about each other and just be like really wild, and they were much more kind of like reserved and together in a way that I didn't expect. I expected them to be a little more like just kind of like crazy. I mean, they still talk trash, but in a certain context. Like Michael Beasley talks trash a lot on the court, but in his interview, he's it's just interesting. They're sort of like aware of the ramifications of what they might say.
Your passion that you found?
Yeah, I mean, getting the clearances has been a huge job. When I was editing, I just kind of felt like, you know what, I'm just going to throw in any music that feels like it works or that I want to use, and I'm not going to worry about clearances, and I'll find some way to clear it, you know. And so the film is like just like packed with an insane amount of music, and of course there's no budget for clearing that many well-known songs in a documentary, and so then we kind of like made up this budget, which is with figuring out what we could pay as an MFN fee, like paying the same fee to everybody, and started calling up the record companies, and I really had to call on a lot of, you know, friends and different people to help me do it, people that I know from the music business. There were a lot of people at my management company, at John Silva's company, Jen Hall and Michael Mizell, and different people who really helped get it done, who kind of like pushed this stuff through, because I don't think it would have ever happened otherwise. But it's cool, and most of the stuff is cleared. Actually, I believe that the screening that you're going to see tonight is not all the final cleared music, because there are certain things that I couldn't clear and swapped out with other things. In some cases, not as good, but in some cases, actually, I'm happier with the music that ended up getting swapped in. There was cases where like I had to put in like a temp track because I didn't know if something was going to clear, and then the original one cleared, but I liked the temp one better, and so kind of the alternate, and so I ended up going with the alternate in a couple of cases. You can cut that together, can't you? All right, my name's Adam Yauch, and this is the West Coast premiere of Gunnin for that #1 spot. Is that all what I was supposed to say?
Yeah.
Something like that?
You can break your reputation, or you can help your reputation going there and playing. And hopefully when I go there, I'm helping my reputation. That's what it takes, showing America's finest.
In New York, you don't get a nickname unless you earn it. You don't come to the park with your own nickname. You just don't.
The Mecca of basketball, Rucker Park.
Everybody's still in high school. Nobody's graduating yet. They're gonna be multi-millionaires in about 5 years. Let's get it going here, folks. Yo! Be easy, Mike Beasley.
I'm counting down to the day of summer fitting for a king. I'm waiting for the time when I can get to Arizona, cause my money is spent. Run it down, rent, neither party is mine. Got the jackets on the you gotta dunk that one, baby.
There's been pro players on these courts since the 60s on this asphalt right here.
As everybody knows, these 3 sneaker companies can't stand each other. Typically, you play with whatever shoe company you wear. This game throws out all those rules.
Coming home from school every day in the backyard, it was a war. That's where I think I get my competitive edge from, just hating to lose so much, because if I lost, I know I'm going to hear it from the rest of the night.
Y'all wanna know why you don't stop? Y'all wanna know why you don't flop? Let me tell you, people, why I came from the bottom of the block. When I was born, it was sworn I was never gonna be shit. Had to prove the opposite, I was had to get my right. I had on eyes on the prize, Sean knew I had to get these chips. Had to make moves like Elijah Wan. Started out selling doubts and graduated to a group. No exaggeration, my infatuation with the strip. Legendary like a schoolboy crush on every chick.
I think we on the outside feel it more than they do. You know what I mean, I don't really think they know what they into right now. It's so big, I don't really think they know. They're living for so many people right now, you know what I'm saying?
Had to lay way in the cut till I finally got my turn. Now I'm on top in the spot that I earned. It's my life, it's my pain and my struggle. The song that I sing to you is my everything.